Hey, what's going on, wrestling fans? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, and welcome to the TJ Knows Wrestling podcast. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday afternoon. If you're watching this live, thank you so much for spending your Saturday afternoon with us here. I got a special guest here on the TJ Knows Wrestling podcast. I have my nephew, Kalen. Kalen, what's going on, man?
Everything's good.
Yeah, that's great, man. You ready to talk about some wrestling?
Yeah.
Okay, now look, you gotta be more excited than that. Now we talked all week about you coming on this show and you wanted to talk wrestling. So I'm gonna ask you again. Are you excited?
Yeah.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. We're here to talk about WrestleMania 37. Now, WrestleMania been going on way before you was born, Kaylee. But we know that you are a huge wrestling fan and you always talking about how much you love the WWE. So we're going to be talking about some of these matches, man. They got some really good matches this year. And this is the first time, Kayla, in over a year that they're going to have fans inside of the stadium, man. So I know that's got to be exciting. So when you heard that fans were going to be at WrestleMania, how did it make you feel? Were you excited?
Yeah, because they actually get to see the match in person.
Yeah. That would be awesome, man. Like, I've been to WrestleMania twice, and once WrestleMania like starts to really start to let people in, I wanna take you to WrestleMania so you can experience that because it's so fun. It's so cool to be in a crowd and you see some of those athletes come out. It's just a great feel. And I mean they do a good job. The Thunderdome. You can see the crowd on the screens, but there's nothing like watching wrestling live, man. And they got some great matches, but let's go ahead and talk about the Hall of Fame. Now, somebody's going into the Hall of Fame that you like a lot, and that's Kane, right? You're a huge Kane fan. You like Kane. I remember when Kane first came to WWE back in 1997, man. So it was a long time ago, and he's been a really good wrestler throughout the years, and now he's going into the Hall of Fame. Kaylin, how do you feel about Kane going into the Hall of Fame?
I'm really happy. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he definitely deserves to be there. I mean, he has some great matches. Like I remember the match, his very first match versus the Undertaker at WrestleMania 14, man. And him and Undertaker also were a tag team together. They were called the Brothers of Destruction. And Kane, I remember when Kane had the mask on, he took the mask off. But nevertheless,
I like Kane better with the mask on.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this. All right. Now, even though you were young and you don't remember when Kane first came, I'm pretty sure you remember what he looked like. So
when he first came.
Yeah. So which Kane you like? What mask do you like? Do you like the original Kane mask, or do you like? Okay, you like the original Kane with the long sleeve.
For everything.
Yeah. With the long sleeve.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was awesome. Like that was the real Kane. That's when like he first came out and he was like really truly a monster. And I just feel like, as time went on, he stopped wearing like the long sleeve and he started wearing like the little straps. And I mean, he was still cool. And he had some really good matches. But I'm just happy. Huh?
That wasn't the first time Kane debuted. He actually debuted before Kane in the suit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, corporate Kane. You talk about corporate Kane when he was with the Authority with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, right?
No,
he was wearing a suit.
No, I'm talking about when he used to have a different name before Kane.
Oh, okay. You're talking about when he was Dr. Isaac Yankem, when he was a dentist.
Yeah.
That's when he first came. Yeah, he was known as Isaac Yankem DDS. And if you remember who is Jerry the King Lawler, he was supposed to be Jerry the King Lawler's actual dentist. And that was his first, what they call gimmick. That's when he first came. And then of course, that's when he transformed into Kane, probably maybe like a couple of years later. But I'm glad to see that he's in the Hall of Fame. I'm glad because I mean he deserves it, man. I mean, Kane has been one of the best characters in WWE. I mean, you got to put him up there with the Undertaker. You got to put him up there with Goldust. You know, those are some great wrestlers. Those are some great wrestlers, man, that he's in that number. So congratulations to Kane being in the Hall of Fame. That's a huge honor. And the person that told him was the Undertaker. So are you an Undertaker fan too?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you thought about I never asked you this. What do you think about Undertaker retiring? How did that make you feel?
Well, that made me feel really sad because they've been wrestling for a really long time.
Yeah. You have a favorite Undertaker match?
Um, my favorite Undertaker match was back when Kane was still in the suit. Their first match, Kane
Okay.
versus Undertaker.
Oh yeah, okay. So you like the very first Kane versus Undertaker match? That was I want to say WrestleMania 14 was their very first match, and I like that match because you really didn't know what Kane was going to do. Like you knew Kane was something that was like indestructible, but you didn't know what type of character he was going to be. But I mean he's been great all these years, and my favorite Undertaker match is against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. You ever seen that match? You ever seen when he wrestled Shawn Michaels? Okay, when you get a chance, check out the Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. That's probably one of the greatest matches of all time. Like you have to watch that match. So that's your homework assignment. watch WrestleMania 25 and tell me what you think about that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on. We're gonna talk about the actual event, WrestleMania 37. Are you excited about it, man? WrestleMania, man, is here.
I'm really excited.
That's what I'm talking about, man. They got 2 nights, Kaylin. 2 nights of WrestleMania. They got Saturday night and Sunday night. So for the second year in a row, they're going to do a 2-night event, which I can appreciate, Kaylin, because I remember like going to WrestleMania, and I mean it's like an all-day event, right? So you go there like 4:00 in the afternoon, and you don't get out of there until about midnight. So I like the fact that they actually split it up into 2 nights. And right now I have the card right here on my phone, and we're going to go through all the matches, and I want you to tell me who do you feel is going to win those matches, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, we're going to start with Sasha Banks, who is the SmackDown Women's Champion. She's going to be taking on Bianca Belair. Now, we know Bianca, she won the Women's Royal Rumble this year in 2021, and she's been really good. She's been really exciting. She's been putting on really good matches. Her and Sasha have been in a tag team a couple of times. They tried to get the Women's Tag Team Championships. They couldn't get them, but now they're on a collision course at WrestleMania, and these two are probably some of the best 2 wrestlers in the world right now. So who do you think is going to win? Do you think Sasha Banks is going to retain her championship, or will we see a new champion in Bianca Belair?
I feel like Sasha Banks can retain her championship.
Okay. So you think that Sasha Banks is going to retain her SmackDown Women's Championship?
Yeah.
Okay. You know why I feel like I have to say I have to agree with you, because it seems to me like Sasha is starting to change from being a good, a good fan favorite. Now it seems like she's trying to turn into, a heel or a bad, a bad person. So I would not be surprised if Reginald gets involved, because it seems like Reginald and her have something going on. So it wouldn't surprise me if Reginald comes down there and disrupts the match. Now I'm rooting for Bianca Belair because I like her. I like that she's really, really talented, and I think she deserves to have that championship. But I do think that Sasha Banks is probably having her best run as a champion she ever had. Now she's had the championship 4 times, but this is a time where I can say that her championship actually means something. So I'm going to say that I feel like Reginald is going to cost Bianca Belair the championship, and I got Sasha Banks retaining her championship. But hopefully I'm wrong, because like I said, I like Bianca Belair. And that's the first, that's going to be on Saturday. That's going to be a Saturday match. So you say Sasha Banks is going to win, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Sasha Banks. Okay, I agree. Okay, Sasha Banks is going to win. That's how I feel as well. All right, we're not going to talk about the WWE Championship match. We're going to skip that one. We're going to save that one for last for the first night, and we're going to go with Bad Bunny taking on The Miz. Now, Bad Bunny is a recording artist, right? He's a Latin recording artist. He's huge, right? And he came to WWE. He's a former 24/7 champion. Him and The Miz have been having issues since the Royal Rumble. Bad Bunny cost The Miz the elimination at the Royal Rumble, and now these two are going to square off. So, who do you think is going to win? Do you think The Miz is going to win, or do you think that Bad Bunny is going to win?
Well, I feel like The Miz might win because he's more professional than Bad Bunny, because Bad Bunny just came.
Right. Okay. I mean, I understand that. I mean, Miz is a multi-time Intercontinental Champion. He's a two-time WWE Champion, former United States Champion. He's the only two-time Grand Slam Champion. That means that he held every championship twice. So, look, but I think that Damian Priest being in a corner of Bad Bunny, it might help Bad Bunny, because Damian Priest is really good. I think that he is the X factor in that match. And I think that he can make sure that Morrison doesn't get involved. And I think that Bad Bunny might end up winning. And nothing to take away from The Miz. I think that he can win, but I just think Bad Bunny with Damian Priest in his corner is going to end up winning the match. So, are you a fan of The Miz? Do you like The Miz?
No, not at all.
Why not? Why don't you like The Miz?
Because I don't like his finisher.
Oh, you don't like the skull crusher finale? Okay, that's a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like that. Okay, Kaylin, what we're gonna do is look. They got some people on the line that want to phone in. Okay, so we're gonna take some calls and we're gonna see what people have to say about WrestleMania. All right, so let's just hold on for a second. Let's pull up the phone lines. We're gonna put the link inside of the description, and if anybody wants to call and chime in, they can. Okay, so we're talking about WrestleMania 37, and Bad Bunny. And I'm not really a big Miz fan. I just respect the fact that he's been in WWE for a long time. I don't think that he's the best wrestler in the world, but I just respect the fact that he's just been around for a very long time. That's what I actually like about it. Okay, I'm definitely not a Miz fan. All right. So we got a caller right here, Kaylin. We got Ramsey on the line. Ramsey, what's
up,
going
TJ?
on? Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. One of my friends is here. He went live. One of my friends was here.
Okay. Yeah, man. I'm on here with my nephew Kalen, and we're talking about WrestleMania, man. So we're talking about who's going to win at WrestleMania. We talked about Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. We talked about Bad Bunny and the Miz match. So are you a fan? Are you a fan of WWE?
Oh yeah, TJ. Well, I've been getting more into A&W, but yes.
Yeah, definitely, man. AEW is really good. I enjoy AEW. I think they have some really good matches. I think the last pay-per-view wasn't that good, but but Dynamite always seems to be pretty good.
So Shaq O'Neal to a really good match 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The women liked each other until they started bleeding.
Yeah, I seen that, man. That was who was that? That was Britt Baker,
and
wasn't
someone else.
Dr. Britt Baker. Yeah. That was a really good match. But what do you think about WrestleMania? So we talked about Bianca Belair and we talked about Sasha Banks. Who do you think is going to win that match?
Sasha, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the main event.
Okay. We're gonna talk about that main event a little bit later, Ramsey. But just because like you're on here and you want to talk about the main event, I'm pretty sure which one you're talking about now. Are you talking about the Lashley McIntyre, or are you talking about the Roman Reigns match?
They're both what I want. They're both looking really good.
Okay, so how do you see both going?
I see Roman Reigns retaining his title. I see that possibly, or an interference by, one only the yes man hopping in there, somehow interfering with the match.
Right.
and saying I got ripped out of my title. I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a triple threat match now, so it's Edge versus Roman versus Daniel Bryan, so it's a triple threat match. You know, I mean, it's going to be an interesting match because all of these guys are really talented. I mean, all of them. You know, all of them have been in the main event of WrestleMania. You know, so and they have been on multiple occasions. This will be Daniel Bryan's second time being in the main event. This will be Edge's like second or third time in the main event. And Roman, I mean, this might be his fifth or sixth time in the main event. So all these guys are, you know, they know about being in the main event. They know what it entails, and it should be exciting. What do you think about the Lashley-Drew McIntyre match?
I'm calling Lashley to lose. I just something about Drew McIntyre is like he can take so much punishment.
Yeah, he's tough, man. That last match between him and Sheamus, I mean, that was a good match. Yeah, Kayla, did you watch that match? Did you see the match between Sheamus and Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, I saw it.
So what do you think about it? I mean, it was pretty tough stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was extreme.
Yeah. I mean, it was extremely tough, man. I mean, I think they went maybe like about 23, 24 minutes. I mean, and they didn't leave anything left, you know what I mean? They gave it all. So I'm just looking forward to like a really good WrestleMania. It's good to have fans out there, man, that's going to be able to cheer and boo who they want to. You know, I'm excited about that. Yeah. But Ramsey,
and I guess you could say the game of the week. Well, because I missed your stream last night, surprisingly. You streamed last night.
Okay. Yeah, what's the game of the week? What's the game of the week? What's the game we need to be looking out for this week?
A new PlayStation PS5 in a few weeks. And it's a space shooter, something a new IP. So we don't know much about it yet.
Okay.
But it's a PS5 only exclusive, so that's the game of the week. Okay. But I will go hang out with my bro for my birthday, and we're just sitting here and chilling.
Okay. Well, man. Well, you said it's your birthday.
Again, TJ. Well, my birthday. My birthday was last week.
Oh man. Hey, well, happy birthday to you, man, and I hope you enjoy, the rest of your evening. Have a good time, man, and thank you for calling in, and thank you for giving us the game of the week, man. We always look forward to hearing about your video games that you recommend. So we appreciate that, Ramsey. All right, you take care, man.
Stay safe.
All right. Yeah, Kaylin, that's Ramsey. I mean, Ramsey, he always calls the other show, the State of the Saints podcast, and he always gives like different video games every single week. So he's a huge video game fan. So I knew that's right up your alley. You like a video game. You and McKinley and all the rest of them, man. Y'all love y'all video games. So what video game do you like? What video game are you into?
Well, I like a lot of video games, but my favorite is Fortnite.
Okay, Fortnite. Okay, there's a lot of people that like Fortnite. I never played that. I never played Fortnite. But I hear so many great things about it, and I heard it's like really, really exciting. So, what's the highest level you ever got to on Fortnite?
118.
118. Okay. I mean, look. Okay, so who's better? Who's better at playing Fortnite out of you and McKinley? Who's better?
Me.
Is he any good? Is he good at Fortnite?
Yeah, he's good.
Okay, but you're saying you're better.
Yeah. We've both been playing from when Fortnite started.
Right. Well, I know McKinley gonna look at this and be like, "What?" But we're gonna go ahead and move on, man. Let's see what the chat had to say, Kaylin. Okay, Mike. Mike says fire. Okay, so he's saying that he's excited about the show. Damian says, I like the Miz awesome mic skills. So a lot of people like the Miz because they think he's good on the mic. He can talk really well. So, I mean, he's not bad in the ring. He's not good either. I mean, he's like average. Like if you see a Miz match, it's not like he's gonna like knock your socks off. But I mean, I respect because he's been in WWE for like 15, 16 years. So I give him that. All right, the next match we have is the New Day, which is Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. They're taking on AJ Styles and Omos. Now, this is Omos' first match in WWE. Now, we've seen Omos always by the side of AJ Styles since he's been in WWE, but we never really seen him, in an actual match.
I mean,
and this is. Oh, you seen him in a match?
Yeah, he first debuted on NXT.
Right. Yeah, Yeah, he debuted on NXT, but the first time in WWE, like we actually seen him. And I honestly, I've never seen him. I've never seen him perform. I heard that he was like really good for a big man. I heard that he was really athletic for a guy his size, because I think he's about 7'2", 7'3", if I ain't mistaken. So you seen him before, right? You seen him in NXT. What did you think about him? Like when you saw him wrestle, what did you think?
He's pretty good, but I feel like he needs to actually the fight someone his size.
Right. Yeah, I mean, look, there's not many people gonna be his size, Kayleen. He's a big guy. I mean, I can only imagine what he looks like in person, because he looks huge on TV. Like some guys you see, and they don't look huge, but when you see them in person, it's like, wow, but this guy like really looks huge, like on television. And so it is for the Raw Tag Team Championships, the New Day, or they had their tag team championships more times than any other tag team in WWE history. Okay, they had it 11 times. Do you think AJ Styles and Omos are going to knock off the New Day?
I mean, I think AJ Styles will be able to win just because of Omos.
Right. So you think because of how massive and how huge Omos is, he's going to be a problem for the New Day?
Yeah.
Right. I agree. I agree. I think that Omos is going to be the X factor in this match also. He's a huge guy. Like I said, he's about 7'3". He's about 370 pounds. I mean, a huge man. So I just think that you look at him, I think that, him being in WWE, not really being in a match, I think that this is going to be his moment, and he's going to show everybody that he belongs on the main roster. So I do think that he and AJ Styles are going to end up winning the tag team championships. And that would make, that would make AJ Styles a Grand Slam champion, because he would have every championship. He's been a United States champion, Intercontinental champion, WWE champion. Well, I don't think he's been Universal champion, but I don't think they claim that. I don't think they claim that as a championship that's attainable, because of, it came pretty late. So that would mean that he would have had every major championship that WWE has to offer. So they would also make him a Grand Slam champion. Let's see. Scott says the WrestleMania main event with Daniel Bryan added is ruined. So Scott's not a fan of the triple threat match. Caleb, are you a fan of the triple threat match?
Well, I feel like they actually Edge and Roman Reigns might actually take down Daniel Bryan, and then they'll want to fight him later.
That's interesting, Caleb.
I feel like gonna be a lot of spirits in that match.
I agree with that. I agree. I mean, you got Edge, whose finisher is a spear. Roman Reigns' finisher is a spear. So something's got to give, right? But that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm gonna hold my comments until we actually get to that match, and then I'll explain what I think is going to happen. All right. Damien says Team Roman Reigns in the building. So we got a Roman Reigns fan in here. Are you a Roman Reigns fan, Kaylee?
No. That I used to be back in 2019 when he had the Shield.
Right. Okay. So since there's no longer the Shield, you're not a fan of Roman Reigns anymore.
Ever since he started beating up the Usos.
Yeah. Not a fan. Okay. All right. I never saw him wrestle either, so that's somebody else that never seen Omos wrestle, and I know we're looking forward to that. So hopefully he can have a good showing in his first main roster match. Okay. And then we're going to go on to Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. Now, Shane McMahon has really been bullying Braun Strowman for the last couple of weeks. We know him pouring the green paint on him, calling him, a doofus and making fun of him. And now Braun Strowman gets an opportunity to get his hands on Shane McMahon. Now, they were supposed to wrestle at Fastlane, but it didn't happen. But Shane had a little bit of an injury, which I don't feel like it was real. I feel like he was just trying to get himself out of the match. And Elias stepped in, and of course, Braun Strowman destroyed him. Now he gets the opportunity to put his hands on Shane McMahon. Who you think is going to win this match? Is it going to be Shane or is it going to be Braun Strowman?
Well, I feel like Shane going to get these hands.
Yeah, definitely, man. Braun Strowman, I mean, I know he has to be chomping at the bit to get his hands on Shane McMahon. I mean, Shane McMahon has stopped at nothing, to try to humiliate him, man. So I agree with you. I think he's definitely going to get those hands. And I think that he's gonna destroy Shane McMahon. I think that Shane McMahon is gonna put up a fight because Shane McMahon is really, really tough. But I think that Braun Strowman is gonna win. You think Braun Strowman is gonna win?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you. I think it's gonna be a tough night for Shane McMahon.
But a match I want to happen. Like it doesn't have to be at WrestleMania, but a match I want to happen. Braun Strowman versus Omos.
Wow. I think that'll be a big match too. I think that can be something that happens at SummerSlam. That can be a SummerSlam match, Kayla. I'm excited about that. You got me excited. I would love to see that. You have big Omos and you have the strength and a brute force of Braun Strowman. That can be a great match. That can be a good match. We have Cesaro now taking on Seth Rollins. Now, Seth Rollins has come back, and he's saying that he has this vision, right? I mean, he came out, had every member of the SmackDown roster around the ring. He started talking crazy. They left. The only person that stayed was Cesaro. Cesaro comes and swings him around 23 times. All right, he swings him around 23 times, and now Seth Rollins feels humiliated. All right, Cesaro on last edition of SmackDown ended up coming back after Seth Rollins beat him up pretty bad, and now these two are going to have a match at WrestleMania. So, who you think is going to win this match? Do you think Cesaro is going to win, or do you think that we're going to embrace the vision of Seth Rollins?
Well, I feel like if the only way Seth Rollins will win is by interference. But most likely, I feel like Cesaro is going to win.
Okay. I think Cesaro is going to win too. Like I'm a big Cesaro fan, and I always felt like Cesaro never really had a chance to show what he has. I don't know why. I feel like every time he has a match, it's always a good match. So I'm rooting for Cesaro. I hope that he can beat Seth Rollins. But the only thing that bothers me is Seth Rollins hasn't won he didn't win at WrestleMania last year when he fought Kevin Owens. So you know that he doesn't want to lose 2 straight WrestleManias. So I can see Seth Rollins doing something underhanded and dirty to try to beat Cesaro. Even though I hope Cesaro wins, I think Seth Rollins might end up winning his match. Because I look at what he did to Nakamura. And I see what he's doing to try to win matches. I can see him doing that again against Cesaro. So that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah, but another way Seth Rollins might win, he might try to Irish whip Cesaro into the referee and try to get something to hit Cesaro with before the referee gets back up and do like a Ricochet when Ricochet did to Cedric Alexander.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that happen. I can see all type of ways. I mean, I don't put anything past Seth Rollins. I mean, Seth Rollins, he's dastardly, man. He can do some damage, man. So definitely looking forward to the match, and I hope that Cesaro can win. But I think that Seth Rollins is going to end up costing. He's going to end up doing something to Cesaro or causing him to lose the match. All right, we got a caller here. We got Jerry. Jerry, what's going on, man?
What's going on, TJ Jones? And
hey, what's going
Paxson,
on, man?
And what's going on, man?
Caleb. Yeah, Caleb, man. That's my nephew right here, man. Special guest here.
Hey, what's up, man? What's up, man?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so we're talking WrestleMania, Jared. So what do you think about WrestleMania?
I think it's going to be epic. I think WrestleMania is going to be awesome because, of course, I'm already looking forward to some of these great matches that's in store for night 1 and 2.
Right. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm just glad that they have 2 nights of WrestleMania. That's the most exciting thing. Like, because I was telling Kaylin, yeah, I mean, look, if you at WrestleMania, man, I mean, it's an all-day affair. It's like 6 hours. You know, I ain't trying to be nowhere for 6 hours.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So what match are you looking forward to, Jared? What match are you looking forward to?
Well, one of the matches that I'm looking forward to, and we just saw what happened on Friday Night SmackDown Friday night. What I'm looking forward to is the SmackDown Women's Championship between Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be a good match. I'm excited to see those two go at it.
Yes, yeah, and 2 very strong black women, you know, fight for that championship. That's going to be a masterpiece. That's going to be epic.
Yeah, yeah. I hope that WWE gives them time to be able to tell a story. You know, I don't think that there should be an excuse. You have 2 nights of WrestleMania. You should give each match enough time to be able to tell a story. You shouldn't have to rush through it because everybody is anticipating good, solid matches. I mean, you look at this card across the board. I mean, they ain't half stepping with none of these matches, to be honest with you.
I agree with you, TJ. The other match that I'm looking forward to, and you and Kaylin just mentioned, between Cesaro and Seth Rollins. Now you already know I'm looking forward to that because I already know Seth Rollins as the so-called used to be Monday Night Messiah, and now he's on Friday Night SmackDown. But saw what Cesaro did. He took him around the world on that swing.
yeah, he definitely did.
Does like 20 times, man.
Yeah, I think it was like 20. I think it's 22 or 23 times. I think they're making a big deal out of it. So
I would say 30 the way.
Yeah, I know. Then he did it again in a back. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just glad that Cesaro is getting this opportunity. I mean, Cesaro has been in WWE for a long time, and he's really been good all these years, and nobody has really given him an opportunity. And anytime like he'll have a match against a main eventer, he always knocks it out the park. I remember a couple of years ago, he had a match against John Cena on Monday Night Raw, and it was like a really good match. And nothing really came of it. So hopefully they understand what they have in Cesaro, and they give him an opportunity to get a push, maybe even a match at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship down the line.
Yeah, and speaking of the Universal Championship, Adam Pearce just raised the stakes up a little bit on Friday night.
Right.
And now instead of Roman Reigns versus Edge for the Universal Championship, it's now going to be a triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan. Right.
Yeah. We talked about that, Jared.
And you can tell by the expression on Roman Reigns' face and Edge's face that they are not too happy about that. That's why they went all out Friday night.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, you got a lot of people that aren't excited about it. I mean, Paul Heyman, Jey Uso, Edge isn't. So look, I think it's gonna be a really good match, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I think all guys can deliver. Yeah. I think even though Edge has been gone for a while, I mean, Edge is a professional. I mean, he knows his role, he knows his limitations. And I think that they're going to work around it. But But Jerry, thank you so much for your time, man. Thank you for calling in, being a part of the TJ Knows Wrestling podcast, man. Thank you for your support, man, on all platforms, man. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll talk later next week.
All right, man. Take care. Yeah, man. That's Jerry. That's the OG of the State of the Saints podcast. Always supporting State of the Saints, and now he's supporting the TJ Knows Wrestling podcast, man. It's always good to have support, Kaylin. You know, people that support you and everything that you do. So now we're gonna talk about the main event of Saturday. Okay, we got Bobby Lashley taking on Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship, and Bobby Lashley ends up winning the WWE Championship on Monday Night Raw against The Miz. He ends up making The Miz tap out. So Bobby Lashley, the leader of the Hurt Business, he is the WWE Champion. And then you have Drew McIntyre, who went through a grueling Elimination Chamber match, and only for The Miz to cash in his Money in the Bank, costing Drew McIntyre the WWE Championship. Once again, Bobby Lashley beats The Miz in about a week or two. And now these two are going to take on one another at WrestleMania. So these two guys right here, man, are guys that been in WWE before. You know, the first time around, really didn't have the success that they're having right now. Drew McIntyre has been a really good WWE champion. He's had the belt off and on since he won it against Brock Lesnar at last year's WrestleMania. And I think that this year WrestleMania, he's ready to, go in where you actually have a crowd. Last year, he won the championship in front of nobody, and he's going up against Bobby Lashley. So who you think going to win this match? Is it going to be Drew McIntyre, or is it going to be Bobby Lashley?
Well, I feel like Drew McIntyre might win.
Okay. All right. Why do you think Drew is going to win? What makes you believe that Drew McIntyre is going to win this match?
I feel like he's just going to hit a claymore as soon as it starts. He might not go for the pin immediately. He might wait a sec. He might hit another one before he hits the pin.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, I think that it's not going to be like a Brock Lesnar match or a Goldberg match. I think that these two are going to really, go at it. I think that Bobby Lashley isn't taking Drew McIntyre lightly, and I don't think Drew McIntyre is going to take Bobby Lashley lightly. But I do feel like Drew McIntyre, once again, last year he won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania in front of a huge, in front of nobody. It was like an empty arena. I think that he going into this year's WrestleMania for the WWE Championship, I think that he is going to look at this as his crowning moment. The crowd can be cheering for him and applauding him and getting in that moment that he didn't get last year. And I like Bobby Lashley. I'm glad that Bobby Lashley won the championship. I'm excited about it, because just like Drew McIntyre, he was the guy that had a lot of promise. A lot of people thought that he would end up being a champion, and it didn't happen. So yeah, I am excited about Bobby Lashley, but Drew McIntyre, I think, is going to win this match because I just think that he wants to have that moment he didn't have last year. But it's going to be a good match. I don't think it's going to be quick like how he did with Goldberg or how he did with Brock Lesnar. I just think that these two are going to, wrestle for at least about 15, 20 minutes. All right, so that's all the matches on the first night, Caitlin. That's Saturday. That's Saturday night. Okay, so now we got to move on to Sunday. Sunday is the second night, WrestleMania. Okay, so they have some really good matches on Sunday night as well. But let's go ahead and see what some of the comments are saying right now. We got Val says Roman Reigns. So got a Roman Reigns fan up in here. And it's funny, Caitlin, because when Roman Reigns was a good guy, nobody liked him. Everybody used to boo him, for the most part. But now he's a bad guy. It seems like everybody like him, But by far one of the best heel ever. Yeah, I mean, look, Roman Reigns is doing his best. You may not like, Roman Reigns, but he's doing some of his best work as a wrestler, as a bad guy. I mean, The thing about it is, this what makes a person a really good bad guy, Kaylee. When you say you used to like him and now you don't like him anymore, that means that he's really doing a good job at being a bad guy. So I can understand why you don't like him. I mean, I like the Usos too, but I really do feel like he's doing his best job as a bad guy. All right, Damien says that can be an awesome match. All right, so I assume he's talking about Cesaro and Seth Rollins. Cesaro most definitely underrated. So you got somebody that believes that Cesaro is underrated wrestler. Now we're going to talk about Sunday. Okay, Sunday has some really good matches. We're going to start with Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Now these two have been wrestling all over the world. Okay, they've been wrestling ever since before they even got to WWE. They used to wrestle in this company called Ring of Honor. And they also wrestled in NXT. At the time, Sami Zayn was the NXT champion. Kevin Owens turned on him, beat him for the NXT championship. So these two have always been battling one another ever since they got to WWE. And now they have they got a huge match at WrestleMania. Who you think going to win?
Sami Zayn.
Why you think Sami is going to win?
Because I feel like Sami Zayn might have more legit, like he can like. I'm not gonna call Kevin Owens fat, but I feel like Sami Zayn has the advantage.
Okay, so you think because he's in better shape than Kevin Owens, that gives him the advantage to win the match?
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever heard of that right there, man. somebody lose because they not in shape. But look, Sami Zayn, he's been talking about these conspiracy theories. Kayla, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? What is this conspiracy that he's talking about everybody has against him? This whole conspiracy. He's talking about next week, Logan Paul, a YouTube guy, is going to come and going to help him explain and expose the WWE. What is he talking about? Do you think there's a conspiracy against Sami Zayn?
No.
Me neither. That's what I'm talking about. What is he talking about? I don't feel like there's a conspiracy. The only conspiracy is he lost the Intercontinental Championship to Big E. There was no conspiracy. He lost. It was a lumberjack match. They had the lumberjacks around the ring because Sami Zayn was going to run away. So they wanted to make sure that he stays in the match so he can wrestle Big E and let the best man win. Now all of a sudden he's wearing T-shirts talking about he's the Intercontinental Champion, which he is not. And he's talking about this conspiracy. I don't see a conspiracy. So hopefully Kevin Owens can beat some sense into him, man, because I'm not buying this whole conspiracy thing, right? I don't see the conspiracy. I don't know what he's talking about. He just lost in it.
I feel like the last match he had might have knocked some craziness into him.
Right. I don't know. He's been pretty crazy, throughout his career, but now it's like next level stuff right here. So hopefully they can knock some sense into his head. I don't know. I got Kevin Owens winning this match. I got Kevin Owens winning. All right. I got Kevin Owens winning because I think Kevin Owens has been really good. I know he hasn't beaten Roman Reigns, the opportunities he got for the Universal Championship, but he's been so close. So I got Kevin Owens winning. Okay, then we're going to move on to a match that is a rematch of Fastlane, Big E versus Apollo Crews. Now, Apollo has a new attitude, Caleb. He's embraced his Nigerian heritage. Now he's speaking with an African accent. He's coming out there with the spear. He's wearing the colors of the flag of Nigeria. And, Big E is really woken something up in Apollo Crews. He's really got Apollo Crews really going after him. And Apollo Crews beat him on Friday Night SmackDown on yesterday. So Big E, Apollo Crews, who you think's going to
win? Big E.
Okay. So why do you think Big E is going to beat Apollo Crews?
Because I feel like he's going to do the same thing he did at last time.
Okay. So you think at Fastlane, because Big E beat him, you think that Big E can beat him again, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, look, I like Apollo Crews. I like the fact that Apollo Crews is getting an opportunity to show the world what he can do. And I think that it's been a while since we can appreciate what Apollo Crews can do in the ring. So I think this new attitude might help him become Intercontinental Champion, but I don't think it's going to happen at WrestleMania. I think that Big E is going to retain. All right, we got another caller, Kaylin. We got another caller. We got Josh. Josh, what's going on, man?
Wow, I thought I was going to have to wait like 4 or 5 callers or something.
Nah, man. Nah, you definitely here, man. What's going on?
Okay, so I got to look. I'm just now starting to get back into wrestling after kind of a hiatus of not watching it and whatnot.
Okay.
But I actually don't want to talk about WrestleMania right now. What I want to talk about the Hall of Fame because I want your opinion on something. I never told you this before, but I actually know Haku, man.
Okay, that's dope.
Yeah, I met him as a fan, and me and him like email back and forth once in a while, and he's like this great guy. They're having the Hall of Fame in Florida this year, just like they had it last year.
Right.
Haku is still not in the Hall of Fame and still hasn't been selected, and that just pisses me off. I mean, granted, partially it's because he's kind of my friend now,
right.
But at the same time, there's a lot of people a lot less accomplished than him in the Hall of Fame, and deservedly so. I'm not saying nobody else deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but I can't figure out why they keep passing Haku, especially now that they're in his freaking backyard. Haku's a half-hour drive from WrestleMania right now. This or last year would be the year to honor him, and they just won't do it, and I just don't know why. Like, what do you think is holding him back? Is it just the fact that he doesn't speak good English? I can't figure it out.
Well, look, I think that they look at Haku as maybe like, one of those secondary wrestlers. I don't think that they really look at him as being like a top draw. I know he was a part of the Heenan family back in the day. Bobby the Brain Heenan was his manager. Also, like he had like he had a run when he was king. King Haku.
Yeah,
I think it's coming. I think it's coming for the simple fact of, you look at some of these legends, majority of them are going into the Hall of Fame. And I feel like if you putting somebody like Coco Beware up in that thing, you got to put Haku up in there. I mean, Haku, every wrestler that ever talks about Haku, they talk about how tough he is. And then, I just feel like by him and his connection with the Undertaker, I think eventually, like, they're gonna put him in there. I think they're gonna put Haku in there. I don't know if it's gonna be this year, but I'm pretty sure, like, down the line, he's gonna hear his name called. I think that he's that respected by his
on that, TJ. They're dragging their feet. And the thing about Haku is he could sell, man. Yeah. He was like he was really like he is such an underrated performer as far as like the way he could sell. Like, have you ever seen some of his matches with Hulk Hogan?
Yeah,
he just sold perfectly for him. It wasn't over the top, but it wasn't too. You know what I mean? Haku knew what to do in the ring. He was a much better ring technician than he's ever given credit for.
Right.
But you brought up something, his toughness. Maybe that's kind of what's holding him back from getting the Hall of Fame because, like, he's ripped people's eyeballs out in bars.
I don't agree with that one, Josh. I think for that simple fact alone, like, all these tough guys that came to WWE, you talk about Dr. Det Steve Williams. They talk about the JBLs. They talk about the Undertakers. They talk about all these different guys, man. Like the British Bulldogs.
Yeah.
They say Haku is tougher than any one of those guys. You act like any legend, they're gonna bring his name up. I just think for that fact alone, he's going to end up in the Hall of Fame. I just don't think.
That's what I'm thinking. That maybe that's what's holding him back is because he hurt some people so badly in fights that maybe they just don't want that to be brought to the light. Because like other guys would knock people out in bars, but Haku would like rip people's eyeballs out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I mean, like maybe you think that would have something to do with it because he had all the lawsuits from back in the day. And
no, because you have to look at a guy like Delirious Stan Hansen, who was in the WWE Hall of Fame. And they talk about how Bush League he was, So I look at somebody like him being in the Hall of Fame. I look at somebody like JBL, who they say is a known bully. He's in the Hall of Fame. So I don't think that has nothing to do with it. I just think that it's just the timing. The Hall of Fame is basically whoever Vince McMahon wants to be in that thing. So Vince McMahon eventually gonna probably call his name. I don't know if it's gonna be this year. I doubt if it's gonna be this year because you're combining last year Hall of Fame inductees with this year. So I can say down the line, maybe next year, maybe the year after that, but he's gonna end up being in the Hall of Fame. His name is gonna be called because he's too well respected by his peers in order for him not to be in the Hall of Fame. And that's where it comes down to in the end. Like, were you, you know what I'm saying, were you respected by your peers?
Well, I messaged him like 6 months ago and I said, Haku, I cannot believe you're still not in the Hall. And he just acted like he didn't care about it because, he's like a humble type guy. Like, have you ever seen him speak? Yeah. But he has to care on some level because, like, his name never really gets brought up. But hey, I suppose before I let you off, I'll ask you because they still haven't announced everybody for the Hall. Mm-hmm. There's like 2 more people left for them to select, right? Who do you think they're going to be?
Well, it's already most likely the British Bulldog has been, he's going to be inducted.
Which posthumously.
One? British Bulldog David Boy Smith.
Okay.
David Boy Smith. His son confirmed that. David Hart Smith, Harry Smith. He confirmed that. The Great Khali, and there's also a report to say that Rob Van Dam is going to be in the Hall of Fame. So you got RVD.
The Great Khali in.
Yeah, I mean. That's a whole nother
and not Haku.
Yep. That's crazy.
I want to beat somebody. I'm gonna go out in the street and beat somebody's ass right now. No. Man, that's just crazy. And I've got nothing against Khali. He did his job, you know what I mean? But man, but no, I just figured, I heard Molly Holly got selected. Is that true?
Yeah. She was actually the first person to get inducted.
Yeah, I don't know her, but I know some people that know her because she's from Minnesota, and I'm from Milwaukee, and I just know some people that know her. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But yeah, I just wanted to ask you about that, man, because like I've always been a fan of Haku, and now that he's kind of a friend, and I'm just like, man, they never select him. Right. And every year I've been messaging him like, this is going to be your year, Haku. This is going to be your year, and then it never is, and then I can't say nothing to him for like a few months.
Yeah, look, it's gonna happen eventually, man. Like Haku is, like I say, he's a staple, man. He's too well respected for him not to eventually be in the Hall of Fame. So I look for his name being called maybe next year, the year after, But he's gonna end up being in the Hall of Fame, no doubt about that.
Okay, one more for you before I let you go. This is a fun one. Real fight: Mike Tyson versus Haku. Who wins?
Real fight. I'm gonna go with Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson, is a professional fighter. I'm not, now if we're talking about in a back alley, you got some bottles on the ground, you got some weapons you can pick up, then I think it's every man for himself. So I might give Haku an advantage in that regards, but if they just straight up fighting, I got to give it to Mike Tyson.
All right, TJ, I'll let you get to the next call, brother.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Have you ever heard of the wrestler named Haku?
No.
Okay, that's another homework assignment. You got to look up Haku. Okay. All right. And Haku was really good. I remember when he was in WCW, and he was under the name Ming. And I remember he used to have those matches. And you talk about how like Roman Reigns and Edge have like that one spear. He used to just like soon as the bell ring, ding ding ding, he used to kick a guy in the face and pin him. Like that used to be then. He used to beat guys in like 5 seconds. He was really good. So like check him out. Like Haku, I'm pretty sure they got some video footage going around of him. So all right, so we talked about Big E, Apollo Crews. We talked about Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Now we got to talk about Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Now, Rhea Ripley made her debut on Monday Night Raw. Originally, Asuka was supposed to take on Charlotte Flair, but that's not going to happen because apparently Charlotte Flair got diagnosed with COVID, so she won't be able to be at WrestleMania. I mean, you got some other reports coming out saying that she's upset because Andrade, who is a real-life boyfriend, he's no longer with WWE, and she's not happy about it. But nevertheless, Rhea Ripley is taking on Asuka. Should be a good match. who do you think is going to win? Do you think Rhea Ripley, the newcomer to the main roster, is going to beat Asuka, or do you think that Asuka is going to retain overall Women's Championship?
I feel like Asuka is going to retain.
Okay. So are you a big fan of Asuka? Do you like Asuka?
Yes.
Yeah. I like her too. You know, I think she's a little crazy, you know, but I think she's a really good wrestler. Now, Rhea Ripley, she was the former NXT Women's Champion, and she took on Charlotte Flair last year at WrestleMania, and she didn't win, but it was a really good match. And I think that these two can really have a good match. I think that Asuka is going to lose this match because Rhea Ripley is really good, Kaylin. Like, she's really good in the ring. She was the first UK Women's Champion, NXT UK Women's Champion. She's the NXT Women's Champion, and I think that she's going to be the Raw Women's Champion. I think that Asuka never really having a match with her before. I think they give Rhea Ripley the opportunity to really surprise Asuka because Asuka doesn't know really what to expect. So I think that Rhea Ripley coming in this soon, close to WrestleMania, maybe Asuka won't be prepared for it. So I don't think Asuka will be ready for Rhea Ripley. So I got Rhea Ripley winning. Okay, that's another split, man. So we split from the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. We both think that Big E is going to win, and you think Asuka is going to win, and I got Rhea Ripley. And then we have the Fiend taking on Randy Orton. Now the Fiend came back, you know, at SummerSlam. He ended up getting burned by Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen him. And it was just basically Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton. And now at Fastlane, the Fiend returns. You know, I mean, he comes back. I mean, he looks pretty crispy, but nevertheless, he's still here. And you know, what'd you say?
I said it's been rumored it's not actually the Fiend, but it's Bo Dallas.
Wow, really? I didn't know that. That's interesting. That would be interesting. That would be interesting if it was Bo Dallas. You know, do you think it's Bo Dallas?
Yeah. Because when he came back before the Fiend got burned, his arms looked a little bigger. But when he's back now, his arms look way smaller now.
Okay, so you think it's Bo Dallas as the Fiend now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting, man. So if it is Bo Dallas, that would be interesting. And I would say that Randy Orton would win. Okay, but I believe that's Bray Wyatt. I believe it's Bray Wyatt. I don't think it is. Now, I would like to see Bo Dallas help out Bray Wyatt because they're brothers in real life. Like they're real life brothers, you know. So I would. A guy tries to burn your brother. I mean, of course, you're going to try to come back and try to, you know, get revenge for your brother. So that would be interesting. That would be interesting if it was Bo Dallas. But I still think the Fiend is going to beat Randy Orton because Randy Orton, he needs to get what he deserves. I mean, you try to burn the Fiend, try to burn him alive. You try to eliminate Alexa Bliss. I think it's time for Randy Orton to get what's coming to him. I think the Fiend is going to win. What do you think? You think Randy Orton or the Fiend is going to win? Which one?
I feel the only way the Fiend will win is by interference by Alexa Bliss.
Okay, so you think that if Alexa Bliss doesn't interfere, you feel like the Fiend is going to lose?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I think the Fiend, like, look, he comes back burnt. Like burnt, man. Like he just showed you that you can't stop him. Like you can't stop him. So he's pretty indestructible right now. I can't see Randy Orton beating the Fiend like in an actual match, like pinning the Fiend. I can't see that. I think the Fiend is going to end up winning because he's going to be way too much for Randy Orton. He's going I think Alexa Bliss might get involved. But I think that the Fiend is going to be way too much for Randy Orton. He might play some mind games. We might not just see a match. We might see the Fiend teleport Randy Orton somewhere I mean, we might see another Randy Orton come out, you know, like weird stuff. Like they might get into the head of Randy Orton. You got to remember, the Fiend can play mind games too, Caleb. And he does it really well. You remember when he wrestled John Cena? He was in the head of John Cena, so he can do the same thing to Randy Orton.
Yeah, but Uncle Timmy. I got a question for you.
What's that?
It's not based off WrestleMania or nothing, but who is your favorite wrestler?
My favorite wrestler of all time is Latino Heat Eddie Guerrero. That's my favorite wrestler. He is my favorite wrestler of all time. I love Eddie Guerrero. I watched Eddie Guerrero before he even came to WWF at the time. But I just love Eddie Guerrero, man. I remember him coming down in a low rider, you know, with the hydraulics and they bouncing, and he gets into the ring, and he always had good matches, man. And so that's my favorite wrestler of all time. My second favorite wrestler of all time is Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medal winner. I like Kurt Angle. You know, he was the fastest. He was the fastest to learn wrestling. You know, he picked up the sport of wrestling faster than any other superstar. I mean, his rookie year, like he won a WWE championship in his first year. So those are my two favorite wrestlers of all time. But Eddie Guerrero, I mean, he sits atop the mountain as my favorite wrestler. Who's your favorite wrestler of all time?
It was Kane.
Kane? Okay, so Kane, your favorite wrestler of all time. I mean, look, Kane is all-time great. And you know, so and I feel like Eddie Guerrero, like I say, he's my favorite wrestler of all time. No doubt about it. All right, and last but not least, we got the triple threat match, right? We got Roman Reigns, who's the Universal Heavyweight Champion, taking on Edge and Daniel Bryan. Now, Daniel Bryan gets put into this match at WrestleMania. It's now a triple threat match. The last match, Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. Daniel Bryan actually made Roman Reigns tap, even though the referee didn't see it. He still made him tap out. So the official allowed Daniel Bryan to be a part of this match. Roman Reigns doesn't like it. Edge doesn't like it. Edge feels he won the Royal Rumble. He feels like he earned his spot to be the number one contender and have a one-on-one match with Roman. So who do you think is going to win this match? Is it going to be Edge? Is it going to be Daniel Bryan? Or is it going to be the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns?
Sadly, Roman Reigns.
So what makes you so sure? What makes you so sure that Roman Reigns is going to win?
Because I feel like Paul Heyman's going to have to do something with this match. If he don't, I'll be surprised.
This is the way I see it. I think that Edge is going to win this match. I think Edge is going to win, and he's not going to pin Roman Reigns. He's going to pin Daniel Bryan. I feel like Daniel Bryan is he's the guy that's most likely to get pinned in this match because Roman Reigns hasn't lost. He hasn't lost since he came back. He has not lost since like almost in a year. So I can't.
He was close to losing at the last man standing, Kevin Owens. WrestleMania. He was close, but he pulled
it off. So he's a survivor. He finds ways to win. I mean, at the very last minute, rather it's Jey Uso, rather it's Paul Heyman, rather it's Edge who hits Daniel Bryan with a chair, he always finds a way to come out on top. So I do feel like Edge is going to pin Daniel Bryan. I feel like he's going to spear Daniel Bryan for the 1, 2, 3, and he is going to become the Universal Champion. Now, Edge has not wrestled in 10 years, right? I mean, he had this huge comeback story. He had this career-ending neck injury that put him out of action for 10 years. He comes back. He wins the Royal Rumble. He starts out at number 1, runs the table. I feel like he's going to win. I think he's going to be the Universal Champion.
Edge came back at the 2020 Royal Rumble too.
Right. But I mean, from that time at the 2020 Royal Rumble, that was the first time he was seen in over 10 years. Right. So he doesn't really have those many one-on-one matches. Let me see. I think He wrestled Randy Orton twice, if I'm not mistaken. I think he wrestled him twice. I think he wrestled at the Royal Rumble, and then I think he wrestled Jey Uso. So that's about 4 matches that he had in over a year. Okay, so you have 4 matches. I mean, still got to be a little rusty, man, you know, in the ring. But I do feel like he's a seasoned veteran. He's been in wrestling for a long time. And I think that he is going to end up beating Daniel Bryan. I don't think Roman Reigns is going to be involved. And I think that he's going to be the Universal Champion. And him and Roman Reigns are going to end up going at it at another pay-per-view for the Universal Championship. So that's the way I see it, man. But all in all, it's going to be an exciting WrestleMania. I think that both nights are going to generate some level of excitement. I'm glad that they're going to have an actual crowd at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. And I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. So, Kaylin, before we go, what do you think about this card at WrestleMania? Are you excited about it?
I feel like this is going to be a dope WrestleMania. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about it too, man. I'm excited. Last year WrestleMania, I mean, they did what they can do. I mean, we were dealing with COVID. Everybody was at home. Nobody could be at WrestleMania. You got a lot of people that are so excited about going into that stadium to be able to cheer, you know, to be able to actually go to an event and be a wrestling fan. I mean, watching that at home, I mean, it's fun, but there's nothing like watching WWE live, watching your favorite wrestlers come out there and perform at a high level. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the TJ Knows Wrestling Podcast. I want to thank my nephew Kaylin for being a part of the show. Thank you, Kaylin. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we're definitely going to have to get you back after WrestleMania so we can talk about what happened, what took place, man. So we're going to have a special 2-night special. We're going to have a Saturday night. And we're going to have a Sunday night special. So we're going to have, the predictions. And well, we already had the predictions, but we're going to have a breakdown of each night. So hopefully we can get you back and be able to talk about Saturday night and Sunday night WrestleMania. And thank you all so much, those that were in the chat that checked out the TJ Knows Wrestling Podcast. Hopefully you subscribe to the channel. YouTube.com, search TJ Knows Wrestling Podcast. Also on Facebook under the same name, TJ Knows Wrestling Podcast. And thank you all so much for being a part of this experience. Looking forward to WrestleMania 37. Crowd is going to be crazy. Event going to be crazy. And like always, I'll see you down the road. You all take